Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. One of the most spoken about topics and emphasized topics, in fact, by Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was the topic of Iman. And in today's time, Iman has become a personal thing. People today seem to think that, it's my deen, I can do with it what I want to, it's between me and Allah, where do you people fit in and all these sort of stuff. But this is a belief of kufr and misguidance which has no place in Islam in the first place. But be that as it may, we are now living in an age where Iman has become the least spoken about topic in reality. And people all want to don't be judgmental, don't point fingers, don't find fault, be open-minded and everything like this here. And thus the corruption and the rot spreads further and further. And we are living in a time where every evil under the sun is being spread as being normal. And when a person looks around, you find that people give in. And they think that it's something small. And they don't realize the domino effect that comes about as a result of them. You may think, well, I'm an insignificant person. Who am I in the greater scheme of things? So what I say or do, how does it affect others? But in reality, it affects everyone around you. When you throw a stone, it doesn't just be a stone that just gets thrown. And in a like manner, when you make a statement, when you do an action, when you open yourself up towards things, then you create a ripple effect which carries on through the time. So let's say you are a woman and you decide to take off your niqab. Maybe you were wearing niqab at one point and now you decide, no, you know what, I'm not ready for it anymore. Or you take, whatever it is, a man, and you feel, you shift now from having a proper beard to having a trimmed beard, a shaped beard, and you think that, what's the big deal? Now, what the big deal is that you are putting this out there in the open. So what has happened is other people see you. If you are a woman and now you are not wearing the niqab anymore, then the feminists and those ones will be happy with you. The kuffar, they'll be happy with you. And what is more is that now you have children, you have friends, and then they start being open-minded, as they call it, towards it. Thus, what happens? You desensitize people towards it. Come along, by the time the next generation, if even that long, then people be like, but so-and-so don't wear niqab, and that person don't wear niqab, and that one don't wear niqab. So, how is it that you're saying niqab is important? And thus it's been established in the minds of people. And the importance and that integral parts of the deen suddenly gets put on the back foot and pushed out the door. Likewise, if it is a case of a man with a shaped beard, today it has become normal. In fact, it's become such that there are many women who want their husbands to have a shaped beard. It's like, what is wrong with you? Your beard looks unruly. You must shape it and trim it and make it round. Don't you see how that person, he's a sheikh and his beard is rounded like that? Your beard should look like that. That is a beard of misguidance, not the beard that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam or the Sahaba radiallahu anhum had. But yet, this gets pushed as being the norm. And then you think, but I'm having a beard. So what's the big deal? Oh, I have a face beard. What's the issue? You are exposing this to the masses on the outside. So your sin that you may feel, but it's only me, it affects me. It doesn't only affect you, it affects you and affects everyone around you. A standard message that's written on all cigarette packets and stuff is smoking can harm those around you. And people understand you are now smoking and your smoke now affects the people. Now your sins affect those around you. You become a personification of that particular sin. You become the brand ambassador of shaitan in reality. Person may not want to look at it that way, but that is what is happening. Now you become the brand ambassador of a face beard. And thus what happens is, next time a woman looks and she's like, well, that face beard, it looks nice on him. You must also. So she has children and she tells the children, don't be like those extremist people with those big beards like that and these kurtas and stuff. Wear your jeans and stuff and have that face beard. You're still having a beard. What's the big deal? And thus it goes on. And the corruption takes place. And the rot sets in. And it goes on. Not just him. That whole generation then become accustomed to a face beard and a rounded shaped beard as being a beard. But that is not the beard of the sunnah. And it goes across the board, and a person finds, we just stepped out of a place now where Halloween was taking place, and Halloween, and now they're calling it Halloween because they want to take kufr and paint it green and call it Islam. And yet you find that there are Muslims falling for it. And then came by Diwali, and you find lots of Muslims saying happy Diwali, happy Diwali. This is a statement of kufr. It's not simply a sin, it's a statement of kufr. That's the reality in the Sharia. And it is because Aqidah has been lost upon the masses that such things don't have the desired effect that it should be having. That, you know what, this is a statement of kufr. But it's like, but why can't I do it? But I don't believe, I'm not practicing Diwali. Why? What's the harm if I take some Diwali gifts? What's the harm if somebody gives me a Christmas present? And things of the sort here. What's the harm if my child want to dress up like a ghost? It's only some innocent fun. And thus it goes on. And the corruption takes effect. And you think nothing about it. Because it's just a little thing for a child. That child grows up with this mentality that my parents let me do this from small. So how can it be wrong? My parent, he goes to the masjid. My mother, she deals with other Muslim women. So we come from a good background, as they would say. And thus, this child, him or her, their youth has been corrupted because they were brought up upon these things, not knowing any better. And the parents were the one who opened the door. Thus, when they grow up, they see it as normal. And thus, the other children around who happen to be doing the same thing, they are also grew up in the same manner. So what happens is the next generation have already gone out the window is something of haram and kufr. It's forget about it being a matter of dispute. It now becomes something which, there's no harm in it. You're not celebrating it, so there's no harm. Don't come and judge other people. And that's what the next generation goes with. And as things goes further, then you who don't celebrate it, that person, they're an extremist. Don't follow them. So the deen gets sidelined and called some extremist thing. And kufr and modernism, feminism, and every other ism that's out there, that get painted in a good light and made that this is normal. This is what you should be doing. But in reality, you have been giving up little by little. When you slip on any point of deen, correct your mistake. If you are making a sin, do your sin in secret where other people are not seeing. But every sin that you are doing, you can't say, well, it only affects me. What does it matter? It matters because nobody is an island living all on their own. You are living amongst society, so everybody sees it. Even if you are taking your drugs in private, other people still come to know about it because you still have to be out there buying your drugs. You still are selling your mother's fridge because you want to go buy your next pack of drugs. And that's how it goes on. You are not living on an island. You are living in society, and you are part and parcel of the rot that is chipping away at the edifice of Islam. You may not think it, you may not realize it, but that is the reality nonetheless. So it is imperative that as a Muslim, never give in. Stand your ground. Don't let anything, don't let it be that, it's something which is sunnah, so let's not make a big deal about it. It's something that's optional. Why you want to make a thing when it's a mustahab action? Let people live and, do what they want to do. No. Not in reality, not in Islam. Maybe in Hinduism and in Christianity and stuff, in those religions, or fake religions at least I should say, they do such things. But in Islam, we are supposed to be there on what the right path is, and we are supposed to be guiding others to that right path as well. You love for your brother what you love for yourself. So you want Jannah for yourself, so you must want Jannah for the next person as well. And you want guidance for yourself, so you must want guidance for the next person as well. And thus it is imperative. Do not let it become, people are they've turned picture taking of human beings, of animate objects, as a norm. So don't make a big deal about it. Yes, make a big deal about it, because the deen does not change. What was wrong back then is wrong now. So it doesn't matter if there are Maulvis who are getting on TV and stuff like this. It doesn't change the fact that it is haram. When you have people, and it doesn't matter if it's a Maulvi sending a happy Diwali message, it doesn't change the fact that it is kufr. And regardless of what evil, what sin it is, stand your ground. Do not simply get swept up by things and just go along with the flow. Everybody's doing it, so I'm not a fighting person. I don't want to fight and argue with people. So what's the big deal? This is not a mentality of what a Muslim should have. A Muslim should be, this is the deen of Allah which is being trampled upon. How can I, let me put it this way. In another thing, here you are and you're women folk, and somebody smack them, kick them, spit on them, and you're like, I'm not a fighter, leave them, they'll spit and they'll get tired of spitting and they'll move on. Sure, they're kicking her a little bit over there like a soccer ball, but they'll get tired and they'll move on. And then you can go and pick up the pieces. If you think that that is normal, then you are not a human being, you are not a man. And anybody will understand that. Why couldn't you step in and help save this woman and stuff like this? That's the norm. But today, the deen of Allah, which is more important and should be dearer to us than the whole world and all it contains, it gets kicked around like a ball, and people throw it around and cut it and chop and change it the way they want to. And we must be told that be tolerant and accept things and don't go on like this, and and all these sort of stuff. But as a Muslim, our deen is non-negotiable, and it is important that we stick firm upon every single aspect of the deen. Sunnah, mustahab, forget about the wajib and the faraid, the sunnah and the mustahabbat, that too should be firmly stuck to and not give way for one little bit of shaitan to foot in amongst the people or amongst us, in our own lives, in the lives of those around us. So may Allah grant us the understanding and keep us firm on the deen, keep our iman intact and our aqidah pure, and save us and our family and our society and the ummah at large from following the pathways of shaitan. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. Wa akhiru da'wana anil hamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen.